Good morning. I hope you're doing well. My name is Alejandro Zambrano, Chief Market Analyst with Trade Captain and Amana Capital in London. We should be live, so welcome and let me know if you can see my screen and hear my voice. If you want to interact, use the chat box to the right. As well, we are live on Periscope, so if you have any questions, you can pop your question there. Um, as well, we're live on Twitter, so feel free just to send us messages via Twitter as well. What we're going to do now in the first 10 seconds is actually to take a look at the risk disclaimer, but after that, we're going to provide you guys with a quick update on the main currency pairs. So let's do that, and we'll be back in about 10 seconds when everybody has the opportunity to understand the risks involved when trading. Okay, so let's just get going here. So we're going to take a look at the main market. Let's begin with the euro versus the USD. So we discussed several setups ahead of the NFP, and one of them was a break to 116.05. So it does make sense that this market continues to head down lower now following that break. This is used to be support, so you can see how the market was trading higher and higher in the very short term. However, we took that level out here on Friday last week. Market stabilized, and now we're having further moves to the downside. Now you wonder, why does that make sense? Because if you look at it from a bigger picture perspective, as we've been arguing, the market's in a downtrend. So we don't necessarily want to trade when the market bounces up, because then we'll be trading against the big picture. But when the short-term trend turns bearish, then that's fine to get involved. Here, as an example, is another example of when the market took out a low and went down in line with the overall trend. So you have a breakout here, and then you have another breakout here. Now you can of course also sell the corrective phases. I do that. It's actually my preferred strategy to sell when the market goes against the overall trend. But here we have a breakout, so we have momentum to the downside. The next support level is 1493, and for now, you have a high here, and you have another high down here, and that is the 17 level. So I'm going to be bearish below 17 and assume that we're going to go down to 115, which are levels we discussed over the last few weeks. If the market for some reason would bounce to the upside, I suspect traders will look to sell. So I'm looking at 1610. So from 1610, I'm going to be bearish and looking for this to go down. And it makes perfect sense, because if we short here, put a stop loss here, we're risking 90 pip. And if the market indeed goes to our advantage and it declines like this, then we could potentially make 110 if we would do something like that. So further downside here to the euro. Short-term trend is bearish. I do suspect we can go down to about 115 in the next day or two. And if it swings up to 116.11, then I do suspect traders going to sell with stops at 117.02. That's what I think at least the market is going to be doing. Doesn't unfortunately need to mean that it actually will happen. So here's the pound dollar. So you got the central bank increased interest rates last week, and the market was anticipating another rate hike within 1 year. But given the tone of the Bank of England, it doesn't look like that's something they want to do immediately or just now. So that caused the market to bounce up higher. Now going forward, we're trapped in a range, and it's going to be a battle between the Bank of England and a battle between the um, the Fed. So it's gonna be a tricky situation, a tricky currency to trade. So I do suggest that you're careful when trading this, because it's not gonna be too easy. And let me just check something here. So break to 130.31 makes sense. The alternative is this. A bit boring, but this is the way the market starts sometime. And look at it as a wine. Now, I'm not an expert on wine, but they say that the longer you store a wine, or the better does it become. Uh, at least that's what people say. So it's the same thing here. When we break either to the upside or to the downside, we may have an explosive move, which is could easily be very well worthwhile trading. So look at 130.31 or end 133.37. I'm not sure which one is going to break first, but I'm bullish on the break to the upside and bearish on the break to the downside. Here's your dollar yen. Now the dollar yen, the momentum and the trend is bullish. I was hoping that following the NFP that the market would head higher. Now it did go down a bit. It went up and then went down. And for now, there's no real change to my outlook for this market. You can clearly see how the trend is bullish, creating higher and higher and higher lows. And traders that are not already long on the breakout or on any sort of pullback will probably wait for some pullback down to support, which is the starting pretty much from 113.79. So the trend is bullish. Ideally, we have a dip and then head higher. If it does do so, I think traders will be buying, and I do suspect most of these stop loss orders are going to go below 112.94. Why do I say so? Because it's an uptrend, and people tend to put their stop losses below lows in an uptrend. This market could, in the short term, just head up higher. I mean, we just looked at the euro, and it's under some pressure, so it does make sense that this just heads down lower. I think eventually in the next few days we'll be trading closer to 115.38 as long as we trade above 112.94. Here's the Australian dollar versus the USD, and I don't know if you've been watching my different presentations, but I have several channels. But one idea has been, sell here, sell up here, stop loss orders above 77.33, and this has not changed. I think this will eventually move down to the next support level, which is 75.70. It may also be that it just takes out the low. I mean, obviously to reach this level it would need to take out the low. So we have two scenarios here that traders are watching. Either they are already short or they're not short. So if they're already short, they're just going to keep that most likely. And I suspect again that people are watching this level here as whether to know if they should be short or long. Now, people that are not in the market, they're probably looking at this and they say, well, if we bounce up to 76.91, then most likely they'll look to repel from this level. I think that's what the market is going to try to do. You see, went up, rolled over, went up, rolled over. So if it goes up to 69.91, I suspect it could roll over. And I'll keep that view as long as you trade below this high, which is 77.33. Take out 77.33 and this market could head up a little bit higher to 77.98. The alternative is we just take out the low like that, which again wouldn't be too surprising. Look at the euro, look at the dollar yen. They're all very close to the prior highs. They take out those levels and you can see a chain reaction across the different currency pairs. Here's the New Zealand dollar versus the USD. And here's well, I've been anticipating this market to head up and roll over from 69.43. You can see here how the market is short-term bullish. You have a low here and another low here. So the market is heading up higher, but who decides in the house? Is it the little brother or the big brother? Well, it's the big brother, most of the time at least. It's the same thing here. It's the big picture trend, which happens to be bearish, which decides. Obviously, the big picture trend starts out as a short-term trend initially, and that will happen. But for now, you have a big picture downtrend. And the idea is that eventually this little uptrend that we're working with here will turn bearish and then move to the downside. So I still think that's going to happen, and I'm aiming for 68.14, which is down here. So there's no real change to this outlook. I'm bearish below 70.04. Here's the dollar CAD. The dollar CAD is bearish. So we took out 27.77 following the better Canadian NFPs and the mix to bad US NFPs. Now, I personally think that the data from the US was not good. The market, though, they're still buying dollars, which it's some sort of a. I think the technicals really rule right now over the fundamentals and positioning, really. And with this market in mind, if we look here at the 1 hour, we did say that a break to the downside here can open up for decline, and so far it's all right. Obviously the dollar is gaining a bit today, but I suspect this is going to continue to just do something like this. So if it would swing up to the same resistance levels, so 27.62, I do still suspect traders are going to use this as an opportunity to sell, and I think we can reduce the key level to 28.50. So I think here is really where the market is focusing on right now. As you know, I never actually put my key level on the exact high, and it's the same thing here. The actual high I'm watching is 28.40, and that's it really. We just covered all of the main markets. Now is your opportunity to ask questions. You can again use the chat function on Trade Captain, or you can just send me a message via Twitter or Periscope. If you're in Periscope, share some of those little hearts. Okay, so I'm checking now the different channels. If you're new to Trade Captain, by the way, don't forget to check it out. We actually just been live for 3 months. I received this question yesterday. How long have you been live for? And I'm like 6 months. But in fact, it's actually 3 months. That's how long we've been live, and we accomplished quite a bit already. And hopefully, as I said, we're gonna hire a new technical analyst. So talking with various persons with experience, and we'll have these webinars every day at 9 a.m. London time. And obviously, the more you come and watch these, and the more feedback you give us about them, good feedback that is, the more likely is it that we're actually gonna go ahead and do this. Now let's see here if we have any questions. MI says all is crystal clear and good morning. And then we got a question: what's the correlation between Trade Captain and Amana Company? I'm a bit confused. So Amana Capital, like IG Markets, so IG Markets owns DailyFX, right? But DailyFX was initially an FXCM department, and it's the same thing here. And Trade Captain is a department managed by myself, and we also have a colleague that writes in Arabic, and he does the Arabic version. And we are the department is owned by Amana Capital and funded with Amana Capital funds or resources. That's a better word. Okay, guys, if you have any questions here, it's time to get yourself a free YouTube account. You just need to create a YouTube account if you don't have it. Doesn't surprise me. I am 32. I've been doing this since 2006, but I didn't have a YouTube account before actually starting to do these sorts of webinar about a year ago. I'm guess I'm not in that target of people that creates accounts on YouTube's. I guess I'm a little bit too old. So if you don't have one, it doesn't surprise me. But now is the time. It's good. You can keep track, so you get a little notification when I do a video, and you can ask questions. Now let's check out if we have any questions on Periscope. So it's free to ask questions. Usually what we do is that if you are a client with Amana Capital, we have webinars. So we have what we call Trade Captain Premium. You can actually check them out even if you're not a client. This is a quite cool thing. So I have done some premium educational videos, um, which you can check out. If you know me from the past, I used to charge for my seminars. It used to be about £1,000 for premium educational content. This is not the £1,000 content, but it does definitely provide you guys with an intro to it. You just need to be a member of Trade Captain and have downloaded an Amana Capital demo. It gives you also access to the quarterly outlooks. In fact, as you know, I've been bullish for the dollar, and this quarter I think is the quarter of the dollar, and I do think it could gain. Then of course webinar seminars. We have a Bitcoin seminar webinar coming up on the 14th. It's a different sort of setup. We use GoToMeeting, so you need to register. So this is a good opportunity. And guys, Bitcoin is exploding. Everybody wants to know about it. So if you want to know a little bit more about it and the similarities between trading Forex and Bitcoin, then you can sign up. It's a good reason to sign up. And then of course, if you happen to be a client of Amana Capital, you have access to our advanced Forex ebook. You have access to our trade signals, which you can read more about up here if you click on signals. And as well, you can join me for our exclusive client-only webinars. You can check more about this at Premium. Okay, so we got a question here. So we got two questions actually. Nice, getting some questions via Periscope. So can we take a look at the Aussie dollar CAD? Two people are asking about that. So let's do that. Aussie dollar CAD. Okay, so this is the Aussie dollar CAD. So the first thing I usually do with the market at a wrong cover on a daily basis is that I take a look at the daily chart to get a feeling of what's going on here. So here you can see that it's a market that doesn't necessarily exhibit a strong trend, and it's a range bound market. A range bound with a mild sort of bearish bias, because you can see that the market since March has been going down. But at the same time, we're approaching this major support level created here in the beginning of the year. It spiked all the way down to 96. Let me see if I can get a line here. Spiked all the way down to 96, and then you have another low here, which is the 96.87 level. All right, so we're trading sideways here. Now, because of the mild bearish bias, I would guess that traders, if possible, they probably want to sell here. So they probably want to sell around 98.50 or so, looking for this drift down lower. At the same time, you might have some brave people that look to go long, but I suspect this can go a little bit lower. Now, I wouldn't actually go long here, but some people will probably try to go long. So I think is this gonna trade sideways between 96.87 and 99.20 for a little bit longer. But because the overall bias is bearish, and this is the trend defining high, I do suspect that we're probably better off, say, a little bit of a bounce, and then I suspect traders might look to sell here with stops on the other side. At least that's what I think the market's going to do. I'm not sure if it's actually going to do that, and just because I'm saying this might happen does not necessarily mean that it will actually happen. Now guys, what you can also check out here, if you click on technical analysis, so what I will do sometimes is that I'm going to upload charts here on short-term analysis, and there is a special setup based on the CAD, because I believe the CAD could gain more, and you can read more about it here. So I wrote about the dollar CAD, but this is an exotic one. CAD South African Rand. You don't trade that every day. I don't at least. You can see here trading higher and higher and higher, and the trend is bullish above 1079, potentially targeting 1125. Take out the 1125 and we could potentially go to 1148. So check this out. And later today I'm gonna do one of those fancy videos with me and a bunch of charts in the background, and I'm going to introduce you guys to some more ideas which I have in my head that I'm going to share with you guys later on in that video. So come back a little bit later here or subscribe on YouTube and you'll see that pop up when that video has been uploaded. Okay, we have another question here. Do I provide signals? I don't provide signals, like I don't tell people buy here, sell there. I think it's important to teach people more on how to do it. And I will share with people and tell people, you know, this is where I think the market is gonna go down, this is where I think the market is gonna go up. So I do that, but I don't tell people buy here, sell there. If you want to know more, just check out my Twitter. So we got a question here about the Euro Swissy. So let's check that out. And let's go back to the live trading room as well. I want to see if we have any questions here. Euro Swissy. So this is the Euro Swissy on the daily chart. And up, down, up, potentially a little bit lower. But I think the traders that are selling here are probably some sort of maybe they're using some sort of Elliott waves or harmonic patterns or something like that, because what we're doing here, if we would sell here, we would, you know, try to target a high, and if we're trying to target a high here, it's probably not gonna be optimal for us, because trying to a high here is really difficult. Now technically in the short term, if we just flip to the 1 hour, sorry guys, it's flipped to the 1 hour, this market does look like it wants to trade a little bit lower. So take out 115.57 and this can go down with about 70 pip to the downside, because it does look like maybe this has been a bullish and now we need some profit taking. So it could be that a little bit like here you have a pullback to mean that we're gonna create a major high here. It's a little bit too early. Follow me on Twitter or on YouTube for updates. When I do these webinars, you get a little update on that, and then I'll upload a video as well. You get a notification about that as well. I'll see you guys around. If you have any questions or any ideas for the website, it's just 3 months old, so definitely open for ideas. Just send me a message. Here's my Twitter, at AlexFX00, and on the bottom of the page here as well, you have a contact form. It should be here, contact us, where you can just send us a message, but ideally send me a Twitter message, or you can even send me an email to alejandro.zambrano@amanacapital.com. The reason for it is that contact form, I don't always receive messages because it's sent to another person that manages all the messages that we receive. Okay guys, have a great day, and I hope to see you guys soon. Thanks.